Oh yeah. All right, time to meet God. Just because I know who we're dealing with in this episode. Cannot wait. Kidnapped Turnabout. Get ready for a definitely not a murder case. Ha 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 ha. Definitely not a murder. It's just a kidnapping, guys. It's just a prank. Alrighty then. Got it up on my phone so I can respond to chat. Come on. YouTube, mobile app, why? Okay. Let's do it. Let's kidnap some turnabouts. Here we go. It's time. Don't worry, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be following your every movement with my binoculars. Good to hear. Now, make sure you don't lose sight of me. I'm counting on you for backup. You can count on me, sir. I have to go. The kidnapper is supposed to contact me soon. Who would have thought that upon my return, I'd be thrust into a kidnapping case? And that I would be the one who would have to make the ransom drop off. Let's see. I checked that the money is all there, safe inside the suitcase. Now all I have to do is await further instructions from the kidnapper, which I'm expecting to be transferred to my cell phone. I wonder who else is around. This is the meeting place, after all. Welcome to Gatewater Land. Oh, thank you. And a big hello to you. I'm the Proto Badger. Nice to meet you. Excuse me, but were you perhaps thinking of taking a picture of me? A picture of you? Sorry, but I'm not interested. Ah, that's too bad. Well, have a good day. Hello? It sounds like the kidnapper is using some sort of voice alteration device. I'm his representative, Miles Edgeworth. Are you a cop? No, I'm a prosecutor. I know what you're wondering, and yes, I have brought the ransom money with me. I see. In that case, bring the money with you to the stadium. So this person intends to see if I'm being followed, huh? Please, Detective Gumshoe, I really need you to come through for me this one time. Edgeworth speaking. Next, come to the haunted house. And just how long do you intend to have me wander around for? That's for me to decide. You don't have much of a choice here, my friend. I suppose not. I've arrived. Go inside. What a dismal place. Ashen, go through those doors! Am I being watched from somewhere? Leave the money and go! Now! I was hoping for an exchange, but maybe I should do as they say for now and not push it. I couldn't catch even a glimpse of the kidnapper. Perhaps I should keep an eye on this haunted house until police backup arrives. Ugh! It was a trap! That guy betrayed. No, can't be from the deal. Who is that? And what are they talking about? Split, please. Alright. In front of meetup? I can't move my body. I fear I may faint again. Where am I? How long was I out? It wasn't raining like it is now when I made the drop-off. This was supposed to be a simple affair. So why have I been taken hostage as well? I can only assume Detective Gumshoe lost sight of me at some point. The only reason I agreed to be the drop-off man was because of that phone call. It was from Mr. Ernest Amano, the director of the powerful Zaibatsu, the Amano Group. But aside from that, I also owe him a great debt of gratitude. His only son, Lance, had been kidnapped. I know that Lance is already in his 20s, but I guess some things you never grow out of. I can't sit around waiting for someone to come help me. I must escape somehow. No! Was that you making that funny sound? Who's there? And how dare you laugh at a gentleman's plight? Who are you? Are you one of the kidnappers? A kidnapper? Me? No way, I'm not into such petty crimes. No, I'm after something much, much bigger. Ugh, I must be worn out from today's ordeal. Focus, Miles. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Sorry about that. Ahem. Even in the depths of night, when no other bird dares to take flight, one alone soars to shine the light of righteousness on the world's blight. And that one is me, for I am the great thief Yatagarasu. Great thief? Did she really just say Yatagarasu? Oh, but my real name is Kay Faraday. You can call me Kay, okay? Good. Glad that's settled. Not quite. I have a mountain of questions for you. But first, if you would be so kind as to remove these ropes. I wonder. Should I remove them? I was actually having a lot of fun watching you make those silly faces. Hey, there's no need to get all mad and icy glary on me now. This rope goes through here, and there you go. What a relief. I owe you my thanks. Ah, it's okay. You can pay me back in full later. Now then, what question should I start with? Unfortunately, I can already tell nothing is going to be easy with this cheeky girl. You call yourself a great thief, yet are you really a thief at all? You doubt me? I get it. You think that a young lady like me couldn't possibly be such a big-time thief, right? That's not the part I have a tough time believing. I'm the real, genuine Yatagarasu, you know. Yup, I'm a pure-blooded great thief. It's a little something I inherited from my predecessor. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I arrested you then, right? Of course I'd mind. I haven't stolen anything yet. Seriously, I don't know how you can say such a horrible thing to your savior. That's true. Technically, she hasn't stolen anything in front of me yet. When you say you're the Yatagarasu, do you mean you are the Yatagarasu? Yep. the most righteous of the righteous, the legendary Great Thief. But I inherited their title only recently, so I haven't had a chance to steal anything yet as the second Yatagarasu. I was unaware that thieves could pass down their titles like that. But don't worry, I've got some big plans in the works. Big plans, huh? They wouldn't happen to lead to a big arrest, would they? I knew it! There's just no reasoning with the prosecutor. I'm not the problem here. I'll have you know that the Yatagarasu has no interest in stealing petty trinkets. There's one thing and only one thing I want to steal. Only one thing? What would that be? But that's going to have to wait until we find our way out of here. Well, at least there is one thing we agree on. I'm sure I'll have plenty of time later to learn more about you. So, you never told me what your name is, Mr. Prosecutor? I guess not. I'm Miles Edgeworth. Ah, now I remember. How can you remember something I just told you? She sure is cheery. Alright then, Mr. Edgeworth, let's get out of here. Huh? It would seem that we are locked in from the other side. What? No way! I don't hear you, la la! Okay, you do remember where you came in from, right? It looks like that might be your only way out of this room. Slight miscalculation. That's a good height to make an entrance from, but I can't jump that high to make an exit. I suppose we have no choice but to look around and see if we can't find another way out. What is this? Looks like the Bad Badger is looking as bad as ever. Looks like a costume to me. I guess the Bad Badger's costume is at the very least a two-piece, huh? The real question is, why is only the head sitting out here on the floor? This is the beam I was tied to. Huh? What's up? I was pondering if perhaps we could make it over to and out the window if we climbed this. Good thinking. And if it's climbing action you need, just leave it to me. Thanks. This little hook looks like it might make for a good foothold. Up you go, Kay, and good luck. Count on it. The great thief Yatagarasu spreads her mighty wings and takes to the skies. Here I go! As I thought, this beam was definitely not made for climbing. What do you mean, as I thought? I'm not your guinea pig, you know. Huh? Isn't this my phone? It looks like I made it through the ordeal intact. If only there was a way for us to contact someone on the outside. Oh, we do have a way. Right here. Ah, there was a cell phone here this whole time! If I'm right, Detective Gumshoe should have contacted the precinct for backup by now. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, are you okay? I was so worried, sir. I'm fine. I was knocked unconscious for a spell by the kidnapper, that's all. I'm sorry, sir, I'm such a failure. If only I hadn't lost sight of you. Detective, we don't have time for this. Have the police set up a perimeter right now. You don't have to worry about that, sir. I already got the boys working on that. But in doing that, I sorta, What's wrong, Detective? Sorry to butt in, but I'm afraid you're going to have to make do with me. Who is this? Shilong Lang of Interpol. A pleasure to speak with you, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard a great deal about you. So why exactly is an Interpol agent like yourself involved in a domestic kidnapping case? Don't sweat the details. A crime's a crime whether it's on a local or a global scale. Besides, you're the one who's in a world of trouble. And why would you say that? Lang Z says, the pack that runs together stays together. You catch my drift? You caused quite a ruckus by running blindly into a situation and then getting caught. Ugh. You should have contacted the police from the very beginning. I'm sorry that this has happened because of a lapse in judgment. However, I humbly request that you please help me out of here post-haste. Sorry, no can do. What? We're hunting the kidnapper now, and I haven't got any hands to spare. As I said, my pack moves as one. You're the one who wanted to go it alone, so good luck to you, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh, and once you do catch his number, rest sure we'll come find you eventually. You. What's wrong? Did you get cut off? No, my phone ran out of power. No way! It doesn't matter anyway. We should try to get out of here through our own means. Yeah, I have a name to live up to after all. If we put our heads together, we're sure to find a way out. Man, why did they have to put the window so high up anyway? How is the thief supposed to make her daring escape? I suppose we could make our way out if we were able to climb on top of these lockers. Ha, that's pretty clever. You make a good thief yet, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't ever place my name and the word thief in the same sentence again. Let's see. I wonder if I can jump and grab the top of the locker here. Man, why do they have to make such ginormous lockers anyway? Even if you wanted to use these lockers, we need some sort of foothold. Hey, there's something inside the bottom right box. Oh, I think it's a pink badger costume. Pink badger? You don't keep up with what's going on in the world, do you? In that case, you'd better study up on the whole Badger clan with this. What is this thing? Think of it as a Bible of all the things you'll ever need to know about the clan. Whatever, I suppose I can keep it as a reference guide or something. I suppose this means that this is where they keep all the costumes. It certainly looks that way. It's like the Badger family's home. There are 8 boxes, but 7 of them are empty, which means that 7 of the costumes are in use right now. But aren't these Badgers the mascots of the police force? Well, I heard that the police had a hand in sponsoring this theme park. Probably because the Gatewater Group owns the police for all those cases they solved. They have all the power of the state and they use it to make a theme park? It's not just any theme park. They have a handcuff-shaped double-looping roller coaster. That's quite enough. I'm feeling woozy from just the thought of such a thing. I won't risk until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. And what have we here? Ah! Why do I feel a laser-like stare aimed right at me? Did you want to take a look? Well, don't mind if I do. Ooh, I see. Yes, this is definitely a key. I'm sure it's a key to something. The something is what's relevant to my interest. They're holding a Blue Badger photo rally. You didn't know? Plus, it's not just the Blue Badger, it's this whole family, too. If you manage to snap a shot of every member of the family, you get a really posh prize. Well, there's a costume that's sitting over there. Why not start with a picture of that? You can't do that! That's cheating! There's only one of each badger in the park, so you have to work for it. Speaking of badgers, there was one sitting against the wall in the haunted house. Seriously? But somehow I don't think that one counts, Mr. Edgeworth. You have to take pictures of the costume ones walking around the park. So those are the rules of this game. How quaint. Do you know where the person who kidnapped me went? Well, after they locked you up in here, it sounded like they went into the next room and started talking to someone. I feel like I heard something as well, but it's all a haze in my mind. However, I do recall that the kidnapper was talking with someone. It was just a guess before, but I guess I really am dealing with 2 kidnappers here. After that, they left. It almost seemed as if they were done with you. I suppose that is the case, my kidnapping seems like an afterthought to the $1 million. Well, if they went into the next room, let's see what we can find out through the slot. Ooh, we can peer into the room the kidnappers were in from here. I won't trust until I've inspected every suspicious looking blah 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 blah. Is that what I think it is? It looks like the kidnappers had an escape tunnel prepared just in case. That's awesome! They're like a bunch of great thieves themselves! No, they're not, because I highly doubt they made the tunnel themselves. The floor panel was removed and propped up against the beam in a very specific way. I think this building was originally built with a basement or underground area. This hook on this beam. You know I already tried, and there's no way I can jump from this hook to the window. Come on, even you have to admit when something's just not possible. I wasn't about to guess that again, rather that it's here for a different purpose. Really? Like what? As you saw in the adjacent room, it's clearly for keeping a floor panel propped up, which means that there should be a panel in this room that we can open as well. Oh, I get it. We didn't notice its existence all this time because it was being hidden by this tarp. Alright then, let's fold this thing up and see what's underneath. Now this is what I call a treasure. Wow, this must be another entrance to the secret hidden basement. I totally smell treasure. The scent I wish to smell is the sweet fragrance of freedom. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and open the hatch. Alright. Ugh. This thing is locked down tight.
Aw, fiddlesticks.
I believe you're up, Kay.
Huh? Why me?
Because we need to use the tiny key that you've taken quite a liking to.
Oh, gotcha. Just leave it to me. I love the tense feeling these moments when you're about to uncover something big.
I believe the feeling of freedom would be much more satisfying right about now.
Alright, I got the secret door open, and now...
Wait!
What? Ah!
Are you alright? Kay!
I'm fine, the ladder just slipped is all.
Thank goodness she's alright. I about had a coronary.
There's a lot of really large machinery down here.
What about an exit?
It's really dark and cramped down there, so I really doubt there's an exit. I can't believe that happened!
You have only yourself to blame for leaping before you looked, you know.
No way! I mean, how was I supposed to know that the ladders are movable?
I figured out how we will escape this prison, Kay.
Oh, so how are we gonna bust out?
It seems that your reckless actions were of use after all.
Are you actually praising me?
More of a thank you for giving me an idea regarding this ladder.
The underground ladder? What about it?
This ladder isn't just for those who wish to go down.
Oh, I see. If we use this...
Yes, I believe it's long enough to reach the top of those lockers.
Well, then what are we waiting for? Alright, now we can get out of here.
Yes, we spent entirely too much time in here. Kidnappers who held me hostage and a mysterious Interpol agent. This case is only getting started, and I'll be the one to bring it to a resounding end. It looks like it's stopped raining for now.
Yeah, and thank goodness. You have no idea how hard it was raining earlier.
Mr. Edgeworth! I'm so glad to see you managed to escape, sir. I was so stressed that I thought my heart was gonna give out. It's Active Gumshoe. May I ask what in the world that is?
Well, that's,
Count off! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 98, 99! Shifu! All 99 members are here and accounted for, sir.
Heh. What the heck do you think you're doing counting my cubs off like that? Every person is a valuable human being, you get me? And everyone is a name that their parents gave to them. No one is a 2 or a 3. Everyone, regardless of age or rank, is number 1. Got it?
Shifu! Shifu! You are Agent Lang, I take it. You infidel! How dare you address our Shifu so rudely?
Lang Zi says, a cub who disrespects others as soon feels the disciplinary bite of an elder. So don't you ever forget to show the proper respect towards another person. Sheena! This isn't much, but please, accept my card.
Oh, thank you. Please accept mine in return.
You all see that just now? That is the proper way for 2 people to show their respect. Keep that in mind and get far in life, got it?
Ah, that's right. Franziska did warn me. Something about an elite Interpol agent from the Republic of Jungfa. Apparently this man is the highest successful arrest rate in the organization. Agent Lang, why exactly is an Interpol agent involved with this clearly domestic case?
That's none of your business, Mr. Prosecutor.
How is it not?
I've heard a rumor or two about you. You solved a murder that occurred during your flight home recently, right? Heh, but you sure took a while just to arrest one little flight attendant. How pathetic. How dare you say that about Mr. Edgeworth? Are you saying you could have solved it faster, pal? The comedic relief jumps to the aid of his master. How cliche. Look, what I'm getting at is that if I had been there, no one would have died. I would have solved the entire case and Agent X would still be with us here today. Agent Lang knew yesterday's victim, Agent Acme Hicks. Hicks was like a brother to me. So now, I'm about to take my revenge. Agent Hicks was investigating a smuggling ring with Franziska and a third person. This must be the man she was talking about. In that case, you should understand how I feel as the kidnapper to someone I know. So I ask that you please allow me to participate in the investigation. This isn't your neatly trimmed courtroom of Eden, you know. You're out in the wilderness now, Mr. Prosecutor, and way out of your league. No hard feelings, but why don't you go on back to your courtroom now, pretty boy? You dare to muck the court? I do. And I don't need the help of a filthy prosecutor. Sorry, but the truth doesn't need the likes of you to distort it today. Who used the adjective filthy to describe a prosecutor? And why? Why do I feel such intense loathing emanating from him? Alright, men. Good job on the perimeter around Gatewater Land. Now just find me the kidnapper and bring the punk to me. Dismissed! Sir! Now then, Mrs. Prosecutor. You just sit tight here and don't cause any trouble, understand? Wait. Mr. Edgeworth. It's been a while since I last met someone so disagreeable. Why, of all places, did he show up here? And completely out of the blue at that. I suppose I'll have to ask Detective Gumshoe to fill me in on that. Great job, Detective. Sir, for losing sight of me and the kidnapper and allowing my investigation to be hijacked. Sir, I look forward to your next month's salary assessment. But the case isn't lost yet, sir. I'm gonna show you just how much of a man Dick Gumshoe can be. Shall I prepare the 21-gun salute now or later? Detective, are you sure it was the precinct you called for backup? Of course, sir. I think I would know the number to my own precinct like the back of my hand. Then why did an Interpol agent show up instead with an army of his own agents? That I have no idea. About 5 minutes after I made the call, that Wolfman showed up out of nowhere, sir. Agent Lang definitely has an agenda, so the question is, what is he after? Mr. Edgeworth, I was wondering if I may ask about one thing, sir. Yes, what is it? Who is that? The girl over there, I mean? I'm Mr. Edgeworth's assistant, Kay Faraday. What? Funny, I don't recall making you my assistant. Yeah, I'm Mr. Edgeworth's assistant, me! It's been like that since forever! Sorry, but I just stole your supporting role. How could you say something so serious with that driving grin in your face, pal? Mr. Edgeworth, we got a thief on our hands, sir. She stole my role, sir. I'm taking her and getting convicted and make sure she serves out her sentence. Oh, come on, it'll be fine, like musical chairs. You better stay fast on your feet. No way! I will not lose the spotlight to you, little girl. Man, I can't calmly do any stealing at all with that detective around. So it's not easy when there's this many members of law enforcement in the vicinity. It's alright. It's not like I'm in a hurry to steal just any old thing. Which is it? Do you plan to steal something or not? Quite the mystery, this one. Maybe I should talk with her a bit more. So what are you gonna do about your investigation into the kidnapping? Good question. Since Agent Lang holds the authority to investigate this case now, this makes things a bit more complicated. Oh, come on, you can't let that stop you. I'll even lend you a hand, so let's go. But you're a self-reported great thief, are you not? I don't believe I can let someone of an unlawful nature participate in an investigation. You don't like to listen, do you? I'm not just any old great thief, I'm the Yatagarasu! And as I said earlier, the Yatagarasu had after one and only one thing. What is this one and only one thing you're after? The Yatagarasu is only interested in one thing. And that is the truth. I see. It was 7 years ago. There was a vigilante who threw the business world into a panic. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appeared and vanished at will. Though we still don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu like to find and publicly disclose evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Once a target was chosen, no dramatic Alan Carter announcement was sent forth. Instead, the Dresden Corporation was infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found was sent out to the mass media, along with a card with the mark of a three-legged raven. Looking back, I suppose you could call what the Yatagarasu was stealing the truth. Could this child really be the successor to the original Yatagarasu? But that can't be, can it? Lance, Lance, where are you, son? Mr. Romano. Oh, Miles, my boy. I'm sorry to involve you in such an affair just after you've returned. For you, Mr. Romano, I gladly offer my assistance. After all, I have you to thank for how well things turned out during my time abroad. If it wasn't for you, I might not have been introduced to that law office and had the chance to study the inner workings of another country's judicial system. No. Think nothing of it. As you know, Manfred and I go way back. I consider a beloved disciple of his to be like one of my own blood. If you ever want to go overseas again, you need only to ask. I can use my company's vast network to send you anywhere at any time. So who's the old man? He is the father of the currently kidnapped Lance Amano, Ernest Amano. Now then, have you found Lance yet, Miles? Please, I miss my poor boy dearly. I'm terribly sorry, but your son's whereabouts remain unknown, Mr. Amano. Well, hold on there. Then what happened to all that money? I believe the 1 million has been stolen and that the culprits are now on the run. What? Poor old man. Don't you have anything you could give him to cheer him up, Mr. Edgeworth? Forgive me, Mr. Amano. I was wondering if you could please tell me the details of the kidnapping one more time. Oh, it was yesterday. A call came to the house. From the receiver came the sound of my son. Help me, Daddy. I know this is tough, but please stay with me here, Mr. Amano. You don't understand. He hasn't called me Daddy in ages. It was incredibly moving. I wish I had recorded him saying that. He definitely should have recorded that conversation, but not for the foolish sentimentalities of an old man. Refresh my memory. What kind of person is Lance again? Well, telling you about Lance helped you get him back. Surprisingly, Locke can be deduced from a person's relationships and behavior. Very well then, Lance is my one and only son and he turned 21 this year. He's very much like me when I was his age, kind and very attractive. I'm sure women simply can't keep their hands off of him. Is there anything else about him you noticed of late? Now that you mention it, I haven't been able to get in contact with our butler, Oliver. Your butler? Yes, his name is Oliver Deacon. He's been with our family for years now. He gets along so well with Lance, so I thought maybe he would know where my son is. Mr. Romano, could you please tell me a little more about your butler, Mr. Deacon? As a butler, he's outstanding. He even serves as Lance's personal private tutor. He took a brief leave recently, but even after it was over, I haven't been able to reach him. So you still haven't spoken with him since his leave. What about his family and friends? They said they hadn't seen him. I've tried everything I could think of, Miles. Do you think this could have something to do with Lance's kidnapping? It's possible, but I can't say anything for sure quite yet. So even the person closest to the victim has gone missing. Oliver Deacon. Sounds like one name I had better keep in mind. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Let's begin our investigation. Even if that Interpol agent holds the authority to head this investigation, we can't allow ourselves to stand idly by twiddling our thumbs. I'm with you 100%, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I, Dick Gumshoe, pledge to stick by your side through thick and thin. Mr. Romano, it was my fault that the culprit escaped. Which is why, with your blessing, I vow to return Lance to you myself. Oh, I've never seen you so passionate before, Miles. Good luck to you, my boy. All right. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's do some investigating. If you think I'm losing to you, pal, forget it. So what should we examine first? Thanks to Agent Lang, we can't leave this area. But the culprits were here until only very recently. Which means we may be able to find some clues that will tell us how they escaped. Okay, let's get looking. Hey, you there? Who, me? What are you doing goofing off in a place like this? I wasn't goofing off, I was about to help Mr. Edgeworth kick off his investigation. You imbecile. All precinct detectives are now under Agent Lang's direct command. No way! I am not working for Wolf Boy. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you do something? I'm not exactly in a position to argue, seeing as how you are a member of the police. Good, now let's go. No! Boy, have I got just the job for someone of your talents. Well, that was exciting. Okay. What? Can't you tell I'm all ready to get down to some detective work? You should go home. Your parents must be worried about you. Oh, come on. I finally get to be your assistant and you try to ditch me? I don't recall offering you the position. Why do you have to be so difficult? Besides, it's already too late, you know. Like I said, I've already stolen the position of assistant a while back. Huh. You're the only one asserting that. Well, by the time anyone notices, it's already gone. That's the grassy way.
You shouldn't speak so lightly of things you know nothing about.
Fine, whatever, you win. Go ahead and do your little investigation. But the talented assistant K is going to tag along no matter what you say.
Even if she turns to be useless, she's not going to listen to me. I might as well surrender and let her come along for the ride.
Hey, it's the Blue Badger. Badger, get!
I really don't understand why she's so excited over this badger hunt. Speaking of badgers, there's a person inside of there. Mr. Badger, I wonder if you might share with me what you saw. He's doing that contorted wriggling dance again.
Aha! Ah! You've uncovered my undercover identity, sir! I was to remain under that head, sir!
Aren't you Officer Meekins?
Sir! Mike Meekins reporting for duty, sir!
This man was a witness in one of the cases I headed 2 years ago. About the only thing I remembered about this officer is that he often spoke and acted before he thought, which gave me a great deal of headaches.
Is he a friend of yours, Mr. Edgeworth?
I've met him in the courtroom once before. Why was he so upset when we unmasked him? Does he have something to hide? So why exactly are you in that ridiculous outfit?
Sir! That's because, sir, I'm here to keep the visitors in good spirits, sir. But it's also to hide the fact that I'm an officer on the trail of a kidnapper, sir.
I see. Agent Lang is very wise to employ this sort of diversionary tactics.
Beyond the role of the Blue Badger out of all the different sizes, sir, it's such an honor.
How long have you been standing here, officer?
Sir, for about 1 little hour, sir.
That's around the time I woke up from being knocked unconscious.
And I've been here ever since, sir.
If that's true, then it's possible Officer Meekins saw the kidnappers escaping.
However, sir, I must tell you I didn't see a thing, sir.
I haven't asked you anything yet, officer.
No, but I know you will, sir.
He's hiding something from me. Officer Meekins, I insist that you tell me more about your recent movements.
Sir, I've been playing the Blue Badger this whole time, sir, and getting into it, too. I patrolled the park, all wearing this costume, and about 1 hour ago I came over here, sir. I haven't seen any suspicious-looking people this whole time, sir. But I did see a badger, sir. A lone Blue Badger.
What you said just now is contradictory to the facts.
How so, Mr. Edgeworth?
This is what Officer Meekins' testimony contradicts.
Take that!
Officer Meekins, let's back things up. I'd like to ask you about your last statement.
Sir, of course, sir. If that's your wish, Mr. Prosecutor, this little patrolman will wait as long as I made it away.
You said that you saw a blue badger, correct? And yet, if you take a look at this, what you saw was not supposed to happen. This park is supposed to have only one of each badger in it at any given time. Which means that as long as you are the blue badger, Officer Meekins, you should not have seen another blue badger wandering the premises.
What? Sir! Then that would mean that there are 2 blue badgers walking around, but why? Hey, there's a bunch of footprints in the mud over here.
I remember hearing rainfall out here while I was being held in there.
Yep, it was just a passing rain. That's why the ground is already pretty much dried up.
I should be thankful. It left us with some nice footprint samples.
You know what? I bet if we follow them, we can find out where the kidnappers went. Plus, to be able to spot them because of their muddy shoes.
I don't think it'll be that easy.
Why not?
Look carefully. There are quite a few different sets here, and we don't know which ones belong to the kidnappers.
Oh, that's true. We don't know what kind of shoes they were wearing.
A second blue badger that shouldn't exist. Clearly the true identity of the person underneath is...
Oh, I know. It's one of the kidnappers, right? The person wore a costume to get away.
Precisely. After all, the costumes that went missing from the storage area are...
A blue badger, a proto badger, and a bad badger.
Yes, those 3.
So there are 3 phony badgers running around in the park somewhere, huh?
Now that we know that the kidnappers were wearing badger costumes, those footprints from earlier take on a new and very significant meaning.
Oh, you mean now we know which tracks belong to the kidnappers, right?
Yes, more than shoe prints, we need to follow the paw prints of badgers.
Okay, Mr. Ezrath, it's time to use those footprints and go badger hunting. So we're looking for footprints made by a costume. Hey, I think I found them. There are 2 sets here.
They both do look like possible candidates.
This set is walking for the west. Ah, it just stopped. I can't make heads or tails of where it's headed from here.
I think we can assume it's headed towards the stadium.
I wonder where the other set leads. This one seems to be headed east. Huh? Quick, Mr. Ezrath, I've got him. I got one of the culprits.
Ah, no! I'm not a kidnapper, sir! Down, Kay. Clearly those footprints belong to Officer Meekins. But our criminals were each wearing a costume.
Ha! Maybe they came over to this garage for something.
That's what I would suppose. Officer Meekins, if you could step aside for a moment. We need to examine the garage.
Sir! Roger will go, sir!
Let's open this shutter and see what we find.
Maybe we'll find the kidnappers hiding inside. Ah!
What in the... We seem to have stumbled across a dead body. She must be in severe shock to have been the first to find it. Now then, who is this man? It's Oliver! Mr. Amano, are you saying that this man is...
Yes, he's my butler.
How could something like this have happened? Indeed, and why was Mr. Deacon here to begin with? We'd better investigate this crime scene quickly before Agent Langer and his men return. Kidnappers' footprints lead right to this garage, and right to a dead body. Is it possible one of the kidnappers is now a murder victim? From my cursory examination, I believe this man died of a fatal bullet wound.
You sure are calm for someone who just found a body.
It's surprising what one can become accustomed to in the span of 2 days. I won't rest until we know the deal. As long as the Interpol agent has control of this case, I'm not going to be able to have a real autopsy done on the victim. I'm no doctor, but let's see what I can piece together myself. There are 2 gunshot wounds, one in his abdomen and one in his shoulder.
So that means he was shot twice?
No, I don't think so. I think the abdominal one is the entry wound, and the one near his shoulder is the exit wound.
Nice, I knew you could figure it out.
It comes with experience, and I've seen my share of crime scenes. Speaking of experience, this crime scene seems a bit too clean for a murder where the bullets went clean through. I should make a note of this oddity. This is an unusually shaped pendant.
What is it? Is it something valuable?
She seems to have regained some of her composure.
It looks like a horse pendant. It's got an antique feel about it and it's really pretty. Hold on. This is made of platinum silver. Nice. It is worth something after all. Ooh, and look. There's something written on the back. Colin Deveray. It's a name.
Colin Deveray? But this man's name is... There's something not right about the name on the pendant. The victim is the Amano family butler and his name is Oliver Deacon, but the name on the pendant is Colin Deveray.
I wonder what's up with that.
I don't know, but I think we've hit upon an important piece of information.
Lance, where are you, sweetie?
Excuse me, but you are?
Oh, this is bad. He's really good looking. Stop it, Lauren. You can't let yourself fall for a playboy like that you're in love with. Sounds like someone doesn't know the meaning of the phrase inner monologue, huh?
Sorry to interrupt your conversation. Might you be a friend of Lance?
Yes, I'm Lance's girlfriend. My name is Lauren Pops.
His girlfriend?
Oh, it's not like that. We're more like friends, and we're not lovers or anything. We haven't gotten that far yet. But I guess that's how people are going to see it, so I should just accept it. I even got this ring as a present from Lance. Oh. You know what she reminds me of? A cartoon character.
Ugh. May I inquire as to why you are here?
I haven't been able to get in contact with Lance lately. I began to get really worried. Oh. Looked everywhere for him, and then I heard about the kidnapping, so I came here. Wow, you're really strong for having made it through all this by yourself. Is it true? Has Lance really been kidnapped?
No one is supposed to know, but yes, it's true.
Oh, Lance. I can't believe you've been spirited away. I wonder how you're doing right now. Looks like she's gone back to the fair maiden in love routine. So, Mr. Edgeworth, where do we go from here?
Well, we found a body, so we should look into the murder.
My men brought me up to speed over the radio. And I have to say, you really should have called. I heard you found something very intriguing.
I have nothing to hide, Agent Lang. It's exactly what you see here before you.
I'll take it from here. Yeah, that guy's really dead. Hey, you waiting for an invitation? Hurry up and detain the suspect now. Who? Officer Meekins, is it? You're coming with us. What? Sir! I had nothing to do with it, sir!
Agent Lang, don't you think you're being a bit rash? Do you even have a good reason to suspect Officer Meekins?
I leave that kind of stuff to you prosecutors. It's your job after all. Like I said earlier, the crime scene is as forgiving as your precious courtroom.
That's your answer?
I know you like your logic and reasoning, but that sort of impractical fluff is not needed out here in the field. All you have to do is arrest suspicious person after suspicious person. That's how you eliminate crime from the streets.
So precisely, you unnecessarily arrest innocent people by mistake.
Innocent people? Nonsense. There's no such thing as an innocent person. We've all got a blemish too in our hearts.
That's tyranny. I won't allow such a thing to go on unchecked before my eyes.
Too bad you don't call the shots around here.
As I have sworn to uphold the laws of this land, I cannot allow you to take this man in. That you would arrest a man on false charges without even conducting an investigation. Have you no honor as a member of law enforcement? You, how dare you speak so disrespectfully to our Shifu?
Hold it! You amuse me, Mr. Prosecutor. Lang Z says every pack has its own rules. If you can play by their rules and come out on top, that is a true victory. Alright, I'll give your beloved laws a fair shake. I'll show you just how much investigating I've done. Through my line of logic. I've seen a lot of bodies like the one being carted off in my time. I could say it was shot in a single glance, but even you figured that much out, right? With your current gun laws, it's not exactly easy to get your hands on a gun. Not unless you're a member of law enforcement, like Officer Meekins, isn't that right?
That is your reasoning.
Solid as a rock, it's based on the philosophy of detainment. What's the philosophy of detainment? You don't know? In that case, pay attention, girlie. In my country, the criminals have a saying, beware of the wolf.
Why the wolf?
Because in my language, Lang means wolf, and you don't mess with me or my pack. And as to the detainment philosophy, its father's my honorable ancestor Lang Z.
You'd think I'd have heard of him and his teachings if he is that famous.
Lang Z developed it as he worked to lock criminals away thousands of years ago. To this day, the Jungfa police still trains recruits using his philosophies. But thousands of years ago? That makes your story about as believable as a fairy tale.
Anything wears down and breaks over time. Do you really believe something as ancient as that can be applied to today's world?
You want to put it to a test?
If that's the case, there are plenty of other officers who might be potential suspects. You're not seriously going to arrest each and every one of them, are you?
As if I would need to. I've already looked into everyone else here.
Oh?
Other than Officer Meekins, I know no one else's weapon has been fired.
How did you check every single person's weapon in such a short span of time?
That's because each and every one of my subordinates is extremely capable. It didn't take more than a few minutes to conduct the entire investigation. Power of sheer numbers. But you have yet to check Officer Meekin's weapon, correct? Thanks for reminding me. Hey you, show me your gun. Oh!
What's wrong? Why does he look so sickly pale all of a sudden?
Gun! What did you say? I can't hear you. Stop mumbling and spit it out already. Sir! I lost my gun, sir!
How could you be so irresponsible?
In the end, it looks like you're still the only suspect we got. You're the one who waited here outside this garage and ambushed to kill the victim.
So you think that Officer Meekins waited here to kill the victim, do you, Lang? I think this little accusation deserves a lot more scrutiny.
Officer Meekins ambushed the victim in this garage and killed him here with his gun.
Unfortunately for you, Agent Lang, that is simply not possible.
What do you mean?
You've seen the crime scene for yourself. And while you were looking, did you not think to yourself that it was a little too clean?
Yeah!
So you did notice that there was too little blood. Do you still wish to claim that Officer Meekins committed the murder here? Because this isn't the crime scene, and if it was your men who led you to think that it was, then I suggest you leave this case to the local police to set the record straight.
Not bad. I see your logic can be just as sound as mine. In that case, let me ask you this. Don't you think it's weird that officer was hanging out around here in the first place?
Weird. How so?
Hey you! Your squad's not even supposed to be in this area, right? What were you doing neglecting your duties and loafing around here? Don't you dare give me some lame excuse like, I found myself taking a walk. But sir, I really did take a walk, sir. You're a disgrace. I dare you take your pack obligations so lightly.
Officer Meekins is looking extra meek. Is he hiding something?
Mr. Edgeworth! Please, sir! Save me the way you did earlier, please, sir!
Officer Meekins, please give us a detailed account of what happened.
Sir! Not you too! It's true, sir. I wasn't assigned to this area, sir. I was told to check every square inch of the main gate area, sir. I also was looking for the kidnappers while selling dreams in the blue Batmobile, sir. But I got completely caught up in my role selling dreams to the children, sir! Before I knew it, I found myself here in this area, sir.
What is this blue Batmobile?
It's a moving store on wheels that sells sweet dreams and merchandise, sir.
So the blue Batmobile is just a roaming souvenir shop.
Sir, I swear I was chasing the kidnappers down while I was being a good dream merchant.
He seems rather worked up, even more than his usual hyperactive self.
He sure seems sure of what he's saying.
Can you try to calm down and lower your voice to a more reasonable level, officer?
Sir! Roger, sir.
Officer Meekins, I would appreciate if you didn't tell such transparent lies.
Sir! I'm lying, sir.
Yes, you are. If you're really out there selling dreams with Blue Batmobile until recently, then what is it doing here inside the garage?
Ah! Actually, I just lost track, sir.
Lost track of what?
By the time I realized the blue Batmobile was nowhere to be found, sir.
You mean it was perhaps stolen?
And that's when I came back to this area, thinking maybe it was in the garage, sir. But that's when you found me, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. A likely story. What do you think is gonna buy such a convenient tale as that?
And what exactly is so convenient about this story?
The car getting stolen? It's completely unbelievable, even for a cover story. But I think we can assume the car was used alright. To move the dead body. What? You killed the victim at some distant location, Officer Meekins, and then you used the blue Batmobile to transport it all the way here. Now then, you're coming with me. But it wasn't me, sir! The killer, sir! It wasn't me, sir! Agent Lang, wait. What do you want now?
We still don't know where the real scene of the crime is. You can't say we know all the facts of this case, let alone the truth.
I told you. Truth, schmooth, I couldn't care less. Our job is to catch the crook. You'll find out your precious truth after you arrest this guy and take him in. That's the job of you prosecutors in your fancy courts with your logic. As for us, we don't have that kind of time to waste. You boorish buffoon. I think you need to leave. What? We need to get the body to autopsy and you guys are getting in the way. You would interfere with another one of my investigations. Hey now, let's not forget who was the actual authority to conduct investigations here. Ugh. I'm afraid the one doing the interrupting is you, my ignorant little pretty boy. Ugh. No! Now be a good fancy boy and get out of my sight. If you don't, I'll arrest you for obstruction of justice.
How's that for some Edward getting potentially arrested at another time? All right, I'm gonna eat cereal for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna recover my voice from Mike Meekins. I think he comes up like way later, but that's like way later, so don't worry about it.
Ah.
All right, let's do it. Mm, 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 mm. Ugh. Yo, I just got an ad for the Ace Attorney Investigations collection, and this person had a really good Edward cosplay, actually. Like, the suit's a little too dark. The cravat's pretty on point, though. No, it's not fluffy enough. Whatever. I'll give him credit for trying. Okay, let's do it. Part 2. I think it's is this counted as middle part 1? Let's see. Yep, okay. All right. Let's make it happen, I guess. Ugh. Chased out like a pair of peasants. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Kay? There's something even thieves should never steal. Do you know what that is? You really shouldn't steal anything, however albeit. What shouldn't a thief steal? A life. It's too heavy of a burden on your soul to get away with, ever. That's something we can agree on. Well said, Kay. No matter what we may try, murder is the one crime that can never truly be hidden. And I intend to prove that by my own hands, when I apprehend the murderer myself. Alright, and I'm going to work extra hard to be a good assistant. Let's go! I still never said she could be my assistant. I'm just going to drop the issue. The first thing we should do is locate the real scene of the murder. Mr. Edgeworth! Detective Gumshoe. Mr. Edgeworth! The stadium! Hurry, sir! This is supposed to be hush-hush, but they found the witness at the stadium. A witness? You, what did he tell you about leaving your assigned post? Ah, the jig is up! Mr. Edgeworth, remember that I'm always rooting for you, so go get him, sir! Those detectives sure look like they're enjoying themselves. It's not all fun and games, Kay. Now then, let's head to the stadium and meet this witness. I thought there was a witness here. Yeah, I don't see anyone. Mr. Edgeworth! Long time no see! You are Miss Emma Skye, correct? This girl is the younger sister of my former superior, Lana Skye. 2 years ago, we stood in the same courtroom together as witness and prosecutor. but I thought she had gone to Europe to study forensics.
I can't believe you remembered me, Mr. Edgeworth.
Of course I do. How have you been? You look to be in good spirits. Are you still studying abroad?
You bet. More than anything, I want to investigate crime scenes scientifically. I've been studying nonstop every day to become a top-notch forensic scientist. But it's spring break now, so I thought I'd come back for a bit.
I see. I almost didn't recognize you. You've really grown in these past 2 years.
Please don't tease me, Mr. Edgeworth. I know I still have a long way to go, but I'm going to be a super forensic scientist someday. You'll see. You seem to blow Mr. Edgeworth really well. Are you two acquaintances? Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Emma Sky. Nice to meet you. I'm studying abroad now to be a forensic scientist. How about you? Wow, that's a great dream. My name's Kay Faraday, and I'm training to become an unstoppable great thief.
A great thief? Don't think too hard on it, Emma. It's not worth the trouble. In any case, we have much to catch up on.
You bet we do.
So why are you here, Emma?
Well, I just happened to decide to come back home for spring break, and then I heard that you'd come back too, so I raced on over here. I'd really wanted to welcome you back at the airport, but I just missed you.
And how exactly did you know I was here?
Through the power of science, naturally. Never understand what science can do for you. I used these to track your footprints, and I followed them straight to you. This set is the greatest. It's so wonderfully scientific. You spray this chemical on the ground, and when you shine the special light on it, zing! The footprints light up like an electrified noble gas in a glass tube. It's almost like magic, scientifically speaking.
Forensic science has never seemed more ominous to me than at this very moment. Emma, I'd like to ask you about what you witnessed.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Are you not the witness Detective Gumshoe told us about?
Well, I did get a call from Detective Gumshoe earlier. He was practically yelling at me. Mr. Edgeworth needs your scientific doohickeys right now, pal, he said.
What was that man thinking? Rather, not thinking.
So let me guess, there's been a murder, right?
Yes, unfortunately. There's a sudden glint in her eyes. But I need to keep my mind focused on the witness. Now, where did that person go? I assume this is another Badgermobile.
Yeah, but it's a different color than the Blue Badger's car.
Yes, this is the retina-searing pink model. Huh? What's that off in the distance?
Oh hey, it's the Pink Badger. Badger, get!
Badger, 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 Badger. Just what does she see in these silly things?
I think this Badger has something to say to you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Are you by chance the witness I've been searching for? Sorry, but I don't speak Badger dance.
I can't take being inside this head anymore.
No! Why her? Why here? Why now? I first met this woman 3 years ago. She was a witness in one of my cases. She has since gone out of her way to pop up unexpectedly and cause me great grief.
Edgy poo! Why couldn't you understand what I was trying to tell you? I mean, really. I was trying so hard to keep the creatures alive by saying a character, but you couldn't pick up what I was trying to convey to you. I was sick and tired of that roundabout way of talking, so I was going to be direct.
I had a bad feeling before, but this just made it official. Today has gone beyond the typical not my day into the realm of waking nightmare.
So you're a friend of Mr. Edgeworth too, Miss Pink Badger. You could say that, but right now I'm just the Pink Badger, dearie.
She may look the part, but I know better than to trust my eyes around this woman.
My name is Wendy Oldbag, but you could call me Wendy or Granny or whatever suits your fancy. Nice to meet you, Ms. Oldbag. I'm Kay Faraday. Huh, what do I care about a young whippersnapper like you? Yeesh, I was just trying to be polite.
Weren't you a security guard at one of the Gatewater hotels the last time we met?
Huh, I go where I'm needed. I'm very good at what I do, unlike the youth of today. I get called in all the time to fill in when there aren't enough hands. But enough about me, Edgy Poo. I'm thoroughly dejected right now. I finally get the chance to see you again here. I'm talking with the two young girls. Men are all the same. It doesn't matter how old they get. They continue to share this for the young girls. Why does the other day happens with the young girls finally got to notice you? What I got to do? Arrange marriage with an 8-year-old. I don't see what he sees her at all. The brother thinks 3 years arrived. That girl. You seem to attract all sorts of interesting people, Mr. Edgeworth.
Kay, please, I'm begging you. By all means, do not provoke her any further.
Aren't you forgetting about something, Mr. Edgeworth? This person could be the witness.
Honestly, I hope she isn't, but I don't think fate is going to be so kind today.
I saw what happened. I even saw the exact moment it happened. How's that? So it's true. She is the witness.
I don't suppose I can afford to ignore the old bag.
Yes, it was just a little while ago. I saw it happen right in front of me. The moment of the murder.
You mean to say that you witnessed someone being killed right before your eyes?
Sounds like a pretty important piece of testimony to me. I came to the stadium to take a short break. As I was resting, I happened to glance over and I saw two men facing each other in that area. Suddenly, there was a loud gunshot, and the person who was shot fell to the ground. It was a very terrifying experience, let me tell you. Looks like you hit the jackpot, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, I can't afford to ignore what he has to say. Unfortunately.
Was that unfortunately technically supposed to be an edgy poo? Well, anyway, let's see what we can find out from this little lady.
Hold it!
You saw two men. Can you describe them for me?
They looked like your average Joes, completely uninteresting and not worth fawning over. I'm telling you, they were so boring that I don't even remember much beyond that.
But did they have any special features? Anything you can recall would be very helpful.
Oh my, don't tell me you're jealous of those two men. Hey, she's right. You do seem pretty worked up over them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I'm not worked up over anyone, and I'm not jealous.
It's alright, Edgy Poo. Those two are just foals compared to a stallion like you. I thought so little of them that I lost interest the instant I laid eyes on them.
Hold it!
You're claiming to have seen the exact moment in which the murder took place.
Absolutely. That gun made a terrible racket when it was fired. You didn't try to go help the person that got shot? I'm only one person, you smart lucky brat. What could I have done? I took off as soon as I could to find someone who could help.
Two men, one bullet. It's all consistent with what we found out from the body. Sadly, there wasn't exactly a lot of new information to go on in your testimony.
Well, if I saw the guy again, I'm sure I could identify him for you. I mean, how do you expect me to remember anything without something to jog my memory? Self-centered, aren't we?
While it was somewhat useful, your testimony also presents with a new problem.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
So, about this new problem.
What is that giant grin on your face for?
Do you want me to show you something really nice?
No, thank you.
Don't be so mean, I swear it's something you're going to like.
What is that gadget you're holding?
What you see before you is the secret weapon of a great thief.
I should have known it would be worthless.
Aw, don't be like that. What do you think now?
What is it doing? It's projecting something into the air.
I'm going to input the necessary information to run the simulation now. Once I'm done, I'll increase the size of the projection to its maximum size. Dark skies of evening when no other bird dared to take fling. One alone remains all-seeing. Now, witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood.
What is this?
This is a recreation of the murder based on the info I inputted into Little Thief.
Little Thief? I dare say I think you're taking the Robin Hood thing a bit too far.
Little Thief is actually meant to be a simulator for me to play my thefts. But I suppose if I use it like this... Let's see, Ms. Oldbag said that the two men were facing each other, and then a gunshot rang out and the victim fell to the ground.
Ah, so with this we can inspect the crime scene as it was in the past.
See? So what do you think?
I have to say I'm impressed by the technology thieves have access to these days.
Well, it is a super secret weapon for the mighty Atagarasu.
Indeed.
Oh, but if there isn't enough information or if something's out of place, the recreation could come out a little strange.
In other words, I can use this to authenticate the validity of a witness's testimony.
You got it. You really catch on quick, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right now, the simulation is a recreation of that witness's testimony. So for now, I should re-examine everything. And if I find anything illogical or strange, I can then ask for clarification.
Feel free to examine anything in the simulation the way you always do. You can even present evidence when you find a contradiction. And if you find something, I've got Little Thief with me, so you just let me know, okay?
According to the testimony, the victim fell to the ground here.
That's right, but
if that's the case, then we've already found our first contradiction.
Huh? What? Where?
If this is the real scene of the crime, there's something missing that should be here. Which piece of evidence shows the missing item?
Take that!
This is the contradiction.
Eh? Something wrong with my recreation?
If this is the real scene of the crime, something specific should be here. If you think back, how do we deduce that the other crime scene was not the real one?
Oh, I get what's missing now. There's no blood on the ground here either, right?
Right. The fact that there's no blood here casts down the witness's testimony.
Edgy Poe, how can you doubt me like that? Are you calling me a liar? I know what I saw, and I saw the victim get shot down.
You know, I don't think she's lying, Mr. Edgeworth. To be honest, I can't think of a reason why she would lie to me. In that case, maybe there is another explanation for the distinct lack of blood. Is it not possible that the victim was wearing a costume?
So you really think that Mr. Deacon was one of the kidnappers?
I think we can reasonably assume there is a very good chance that he was, and that if he was shot while he was inside one of these stolen costumes,
then Mr. Deacon's blood would be inside the costume instead of on the ground.
Precisely. Now, if only we could prove that the victim was wearing a costume.
You'd think it'd be pretty easy if we could find some footprints. But the problem is finding them, since there doesn't seem to be any around.
Footprints, huh? I wonder how we can go about finding some of those.
This is amazing. Just feel the power of science.
Emma, about that method you were talking about for finding footprints.
Ah, finally, my expert knowledge of forensics is needed.
Yes, well, can you detect and trace even partial footprints?
Leave it to me. My cutting-edge detection kit can find anything.
Very well. If you could please analyze the footprints in this area.
Okay, stand back now and witness the power of science at work. Hey, I found something. Look right there.
I don't see anything.
Oh, that's right. Here, put these special glasses on, Mr. Edgeworth.
These footprints here were definitely left by a badger costume.
Judging by the way the prints are layered, those seem to be the newest.
Then we can conclude the victim was definitely wearing a costume at the time.
Okay, in that case, I'll update the lithium simulation parameters. I can't wait to see what we find out from this new info.
So the victim was wearing a costume when he died.
And with that, we should be one step closer to the truth, right?
I see the recreation has changed in accordance with the new information. We may be closer, but now something else has caught my attention.
What do you want?
Your testimony, naturally. I'd like to hear it one more time, if you please.
So, does this mean that Miss Olbach's testimony has a contradiction in it?
Yes, and I believe our best course of action is to compare it with your recreation.
See, I just knew Little Thief would be of help. Now let's see if we can pull more info from Ms. Olbach to put into the recreation.
For that, we must first find the contradiction in her testimony.
Objection!
2 men. How did you know the gender of the 2 people involved? Seeing as how the victim was wearing a costume at the time.
Yeah.
Furthermore, I have another matter I'd like to inquire about. I'd very much like to know why you failed to mention the costume in your testimony.
Wah.
I'm beginning to doubt if you really witnessed the murder at all.
But I'm telling you, I really did see it. I saw it with my very own eyes. From a seat in the second tier.
The second tier.
Hey, didn't you say you saw it right in front of you earlier? That was, you know, I was using the phrase in the metaphorical sense.
I see our witness still has a screw loose in the metaphorical sense.
The crushy seats in the second tier are reserved for hotshot VIPs, which is exactly why I go there now and again to take a nap. I can't see how you could have gotten a good look from there, it's so high up.
Were you able to see even the victim's costume from way up there?
Well, I know I saw two people, but I couldn't really see what they looked like because they were in the stage of shadow. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, you know. Not like when I was saying, baby, you call me Eli when I'm back then. I suppose you could on the base way. Of course, they also use flashlight babies. But give us careful with the guns.
Let's return to our investigation, shall we, Kay?
You got it.
It looks like they broke the stage down.
I guess this means they're done for the day.
Or maybe it's because a different show is scheduled to start its run tomorrow. If that woman's testimony is to be believed, the murder occurred before the stage was broken down.
Do you want me to input that bit of info into Little Thief?
Yes, if you please.
Okay.
There is clearly
a contradiction here.
Please stop stealing my lines.
Come on, it wasn't that hard to see it coming, even for a layman like me.
I suppose. In any case, it's not possible for the killer to have stood here in that way, because there was a very real stage set up in the spot at the time.
Yeah, I told you I got it. Do you feel the need to explain everything?
Yes, well, in any case, we still need to resolve this unusual situation.
Isn't it obvious? The killer was on top of the stage, naturally. Right, Miss Oldbag? Yes, I remember that now. The killer was standing on top of the stage. See? Now you update the info in the simulation. Well, well, what have we here? Bunch of hooligans running amok, I see.
Agent Lang, how nice of you to join us.
Well, I can't have you going around messing up my crime scenes.
Agent Lang, we discovered that the real scene of the murder is here, the stadium.
I see, thanks.
For what?
I'm just trying to show you my appreciation for all the time you saved me. Who knew that such a strange little toy could recreate a crime scene like that? Little Thief is not a toy. You too.
Sir!
And there you have it. You see? Big boys like me don't need silly toys, little girl. Now this is a recreation.
So what? Do you still intend to assert that Officer Meekins is the killer?
Of course. Even knowing that the crime took place here doesn't let him off the hook. This is the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait for the victim on top of the stage. And when the victim finally showed, he shot her from on high. That's the truth your little recreation showed.
How far will you go to accuse Officer Meekins of the crime?
He's the most likely suspect we've got, especially given the situation with his gun. Well, even if he is the killer, at least my recreation was on the mark. You see? Thank you for understanding, my little crow girl. I'm not some common crow. I'm the Yatagarasu, the Raven of Legend.
Unfortunately, your conclusion is yet to be tested, so let's see how well it holds up.
This is the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait for the victim on top of the stage. And when the victim finally showed, he shot him from on high.
Objection!
I'm terribly sorry, Agent Lang. I should have warned you that our recreation is incomplete. You cut in quite unexpectedly, after all.
What's that supposed to mean?
You said that the victim was shot by the killer from up above, correct? I hate to break it to you, but that's not possible.
Huh? Why not?
Recall Mr. Dickens' body, specifically where the gunshot wounds were located. Actually, I didn't get that good of a look. Oh, well then. The bullet entered Mr. Deacon in his abdominal region and exited his right shoulder. This is more consistent with an angled shot from beneath the victim. Ugh. Then, yes, a recreation of the victim being shot at an angle from above. A clear contradiction. You're discounting your own conclusions. No, this one point is the only flaw. This was the mistaken parameter under a recreation. Yes, the location of the killer and the victim were wrong. Ah, I get it. I see what you're trying to say. I believe the killer and the victim were standing opposite to what we initially thought. It was the victim who was on top of the stage as he was being shot by the killer. If this is what happened, it'd also explain the positioning of the gunshot wounds. But then, what about the footprints? Since footprints don't lie, we can assume then that the killer also wore a costume. Okay, I'll try using that data instead. Judging by the fact that both the killer and the victim were wearing costumes, I'd say it was a killing between the two kidnappers. That would be the most natural conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Agent Lang? Well done, Mr. Prosecutor. But that alone doesn't clear Officer Meekins of the crime. I ask that you take another good look at the tire marks over there. The 3 marks are indicative of the blue Badger-mobile. That story Officer Meekins told about that shop on wheels getting stolen was just a lie. He drove the blue Badger-mobile here and committed the murder. Then he used the car to move the body to the garage in the Wild Wild West area. You believe he moved the body with the car? That's right. It was Officer Meekins himself who pointed us to the way he did it. The 3 tire tread marks are very telling. However, is the blue Badger-mobile the only thing capable of creating such a pattern? I ask that you take another good look at the tire marks over there. The 3 marks are indicative of the blue Badger-mobile. That story Officer Meekins told about that shop on wheels getting stolen was just a lie. He drove the blue Badger-mobile here and committed the murder.
Objection!
Sorry, Agent Lang, but that's an impossible tale. And why is that? Those tire marks could not have been left by Officer Meekins' blue Badger-mobile. One look at the car would have told you so. What proves that the blue Badger-mobile had never been to the stadium?
Take that!
Take a good look at the tires. There's not a single dollop of mud to be found on it. Yeah. If this car had come to the backstage area and left those tire tracks, then the lack of mud on these tires stands out as very peculiar indeed. Then how do you explain the tire tracks, genius? Hey, I've got it. What about Miss Oldback's pink Badger-mobile? Don't be ridiculous. I was sitting the entire time in the second tier seats. Indeed, I believe we can rule her out as someone related to the crime. However, there is yet one more roving store, as I recall. Oh, you mean the Proto Badger? That's right. There was one more parking space inside that garage. And it proves the existence of a Proto Badger-mobile. Agent Lang, I suggest you find this Proto Badger-mobile post-haste. There must still be some sort of incriminating evidence in it. Ugh. Hey, did you hear something? Help me. You alright? Well, this is something. Looks like we found our kidnapping victim. Where were you all this time? Well, with kidnappers. Using the room next to the one I was held in. Ran away using underground and got lost. The kidnappers. Huh? What is it? I can't understand what you're trying to say. The kidnappers escaped wearing costumes. Do you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces. But one was a woman. A woman? Quite an important piece of testimony. Hey, what are you guys doing? Stop standing there and get your caps on this already. I'll even let you guys have what the kid said just now. Consider it a gift.
Now, are you going to get out of my crime scene or am I going to have to get rough? Again? You're nothing but a big bully. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go. Oh, no, not you. You're a very important witness for my case. I'm not about to let you get away that easily. Don't count on me to testify because I won't. Not for you. That's right. I won't either. You hear me, you young whippersnapper? Hey, calm down. There's no need for all this hostility. I just want to take a statement from each of you. I'm not going to rough either of you. I give you my word. Come now, fair maidens. What do you say? Will you cooperate? Fair maidens? My, you little rascal. You sure know the way to a woman's heart. Langsy says, the passage of time is but a fleeting moment, and a lady is young forever. Trying to outdo my Edipu with your fancy smancy sayings. Let's get this over with. So we're clear, I'm only interested in giving you my statement. Sure, just as soon as Mr. Prosecutor leaves us be. Mr. Edgeworth, Wah. Wah.
Alright. I'm back, baby. More investigating time. Hello, Mr. Human Vi. So if I recall correctly, this case has 5 parts in total. And I'm probably going to be able to get through either 3 or 4 of them in total today. I've already made it through 2. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get through a 3rd. Whether I get to a 4th or not depends on circumstances outside of my control. So, for now, let's just keep playing. Oh, I probably should have hit the break screen. Whatever. I didn't do that. Too bad. LMAO. Oh. Looks like we got the boot again. With Len safe, the focus of the investigation will shift solely onto the murder. You mean the infighting between the kidnappers? Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper. Miles, my boy. Tell me it's true. Tell me that you've really found my boy. Yes, Mr. Romano. We found him earlier in the stadium. Then my little Lance is unhurt. He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang. Poor Lance. It must have been so horrible for him. Locked up like a... Oh. Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough. It was nothing. I'm still in shock of what happened to Oliver. But I have to say I'm relieved that Lance is alright. Oh, that's right. I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him. A letter. The way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe he received yet another love letter, you know. Here, take a look for yourself. Isn't this a breach of confidentiality? It's a very simple love letter. Oh, hey, let me see. That's really weird. It's from a loan company, Tender Lender. Looks more like a collection bill to me. He loves me not. He loves me not. It's the 12th one. You can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try. Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through. Suppose if they were me, then... I believe you said that you were Lance's girlfriend when we first met, correct? Yes, I am, but oh, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either. I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. Oh no, it's so wonderful. You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring? So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out or is it just one-sided? Decided? Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know? My father used to work for Mr. Romano, and so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud. I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about. So your father was an employee of the Amano Group. What did he do? I heard his job was to fly around the world on Pegasus. Pegasus? Oh, Pegasus was the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. You had me there for a second. Now it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore. Oh, I see. About 10 years ago, he rode in Pegasus off to somewhere and never returned. Riding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of. It's been so long. I don't think I'd recognize him if we were to ever meet again. I'm so sorry, Lauren. But I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live. About this incident.
Instant? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident.
How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped?
Oh, that's because of my woman's intuition.
You base everything on that.
I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny. You started fantasizing again. So what are you going to do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
We already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout.
But we're still not allowed in, remember?
Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there's no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. What do you have to report? Sir, nothing unusual or out of the ordinary, sir. Where have I heard such redundancy before? Is it possible for you to let us take a look around inside? Sir! Roger, sir. That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in? Sir, that's true, sir, but Detective Gumshoe asked me personally to let you in, sir, and I couldn't refuse a request from him.
Wow, looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following.
Furthermore, I was asked to give this document to you, sir. What is this? The man of this picture. Isn't this Mr. Oliver Deacon?
The name here says Colin Deveray.
That's the same name as the one on the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin Deveray was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison.
What? What was he doing here?
Apparently, he broke out of jail and then just vanished. He must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon.
Now I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and this current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout.
Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first, think later.
More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you would please unlock the door, officer. It was locked up until a little while ago, but since then, the door's been wide open, sir. I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Care to explain in a bit more detail? Sir, the door was locked down tight when they went to check out the room. So they got about 10 officers to help out and break the door down, sir. I see. I guess that means I get Agent Lang's leftovers. Well, let's see what we find. So this is where the kidnappers planned their foul deed.
Well, you were tied up for a while in the room next door.
Kay, please, must you bring that up again? Now then, down to business. There might still be some clues left in this room. Let's try to find out what we can of the other kidnapper's identity. What have we here?
Looks like a sword. A broken sword.
Strange. Why would it be broken like that? Swords don't usually break on their own.
That's true.
Alright then, let's think about it in this way. Maybe it broke when someone was trying to use it for or on something. Hypotheticals aren't going to get us anywhere. Perhaps we should think more on this later. This must be where they dispose of old and worn out costumes.
That's so sad.
It would seem that they throw the costumes away in pieces. This door is thoroughly broken thanks to the police who forced it open. Blah 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 blah, nook and cranny.
That doorknob handle thing is looking pretty beat up.
I suppose that's what happens when 10 officers break their way in with brute force.
Hey, that's odd. The lock on this is completely fine. Look, not a single dent.
But how is that possible after what that officer told us?
Yeah, if the lock had been in use when the door was busted down, then the lock itself should be completely wrecked.
So the lock on the door leading to the outside is undamaged. How can that be? It's a bit strange that the police had to force their way into an unlocked room. One look at the pristine door lock and anyone can see that it was not in use at the time.
But the policeman outside said that it took 10 men to get it open.
A door that was locked tight despite it being not locked at all. It could only be because of this.
Oh, you mean...
Yes, it was used to jam the door. Here, take a look at the door handle. Do you see how the handle is completely destroyed? So that's how the sword broke. I won't rest, blah 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 blah. Cheap styrofoam cups. Looks like only 3 cups were used. Folding chairs, and by the looks of it, they were probably used by the kidnappers. Huh, there are 3 chairs set around the table. The common denominator between the cups and folding chairs is the number 3, speaking of which, the number of missing costumes is also 3. Wait, but I thought there were only 2 kidnappers. Indeed, something isn't adding up. Literally. Is it possible there's a 3rd kidnapper that Lance didn't see? I thought that we might uncover the true identity of the kidnappers, but instead we've only uncovered more questions that need to be answered. Ah! What is it? Well, well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I correct? What are you doing suddenly popping out of the secret entrance like that? This is an underground passage used by staff members, sir. We badgers also make use of it in our duties. Look, why don't you get out of there first, and then we'll talk, okay? I beg your pardon, miss. Proto Badger, get! Alright, only 1 more to go. What are you getting all excited about? Did you forget? The photo rally, duh! See, look, now all I have to do is get a picture of the Bad Badger and I'm done. Ah, yes. I vaguely recall a contest or something of that sort. What? It's gone. But where did it go? Huh? What happened? What's wrong? A Bad Badger costume is missing, sir. Oh, is that all? Well, it's missing because the kidnapper stole it. I heard about how they were stolen, but they said that only 3 of the costumes had been taken. What? Is he saying that more than 3 of them are gone? Mr. Proto Badger, please tell me a little more about these costumes you use. What did you mean by a Bad Badger costume is missing? Why, just what I said, sir. We are 1 Bad Badger short. Counting the spares, we have 2 of each costume on hand at all times. Okay, so because one of them is walking around in the park, the other should be in that room. Actually, both of them should be in that room. Huh? What do you mean? Normally, we don't use the Bad Badger costumes. In fact, we only use them during a certain event at a set time each day. It's the stage show where the Bad Badger wreaks havoc around the park, and the other Badgers must work together to apprehend him, sir. I'm speechless that such a show exists. Well, sir, I was just trying to explain to you the only time we use that costume. Then doesn't that make it near impossible to take a photo of the Bad Badger? Personally, I can't believe that it's this close to showtime and there's no costume. Oh dear, what am I to do, sir? All this basically means is that the kidnapper stole 4 costumes in total. Then are you saying that there are 4 kidnappers? No, I don't think that's very likely. Oh? Recall the costumes for a minute. The stolen ones, you mean? What proves that a 4th kidnapper does not exist?
Take that!
If you had 4 people and you had wanted to steal a 4th costume, wouldn't you naturally go for the full set and steal a Pink Badger costume instead? Yeah, that makes sense. And yet the kidnappers decided to steal another Bad Badger. I believe the culprits needed 2 Bad Badger costumes. The question is why? The 2nd Bad Badger costume. I believe it may be closer at hand than we think. Huh? What do you mean? That costume in the trash. Wouldn't you say that it's wearing some very telltale pants? Hey, you're right. Let's get it out of there and take a look. As I suspected, it's a Bad Badger costume. Well, minus the head. Oh, blah blah blah, cranny cranny. I believe what we have here is an inconsistency. Between what? Look carefully. Our costume is not holding something in its right hand that it should be. Oh, the gun! Precisely. The Bad Badger was designed to always hold a gun in his right hand. However, you there. Did you remove the gun from this Bad Badger's right hand? No, I did not, sir. The gun is supposed to be securely attached to the costume. As I thought, the rip itself confirms our hypothesis that the gun was forcibly removed. Mr. Protobatcher, the gun is, of course, not a functioning weapon, correct? Absolutely, sir. It's just a model gun. However, it can fire blanks. We need to use them for the stage show. It seems that our kidnappers also had a need for the model gun, my dear costume friend. I think we're about done with this room. So what's next? Well, we found a few answers, but there are still a few things left that we have to ask a certain person about. Let's go, Kay. Mr. Arduous, sir.
You gotta hurry, sir. Come on.
What is it, detective?
They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir.
What?
Isn't that one of the kidnappers was wearing? Bingo. That's why you gotta come to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir.
Alright, let's make haste to the main gate. Alright, let's do it. Why not, right? Where's the costume detective gumshoe? Doesn't he have the side of the fountain, sir? Was that out here in the open all along? No, it's discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. But let's get down to it. Blah, blah, blah. Inspect everything. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. Is it possible that these two... Oh, they're right there! Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? Ugh. A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren, hey, it's an innocent grade on this. Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. You're kidding. Miss Pop's one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady.
Hold it!
Again, Mr. Prosecutor, what is it this time? Are you proposing Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. Huh, we found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. What are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it. Thanks for the confession. Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. You've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Ms. Lauren Pops. Yes. I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing butt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Romano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Ms. Pops, is what you said really the truth? Yes, it is. If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Ms. Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence.
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are.
Take that!
These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one.
Huh?
Shall we give it a try?
Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady, I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Ancient Lane. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant.
Take that!
Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched on the horse pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live, and it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants.
Take that!
Mrs. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie. That person was not my father.
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what is so funny, Ancient Lang?
You're good at making them up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you?
What are you trying to say?
Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility.
Is that so? Well, let's hear it.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well?
So this is his version of how things might have been.
You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right. As one really rotten family.
Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping.
Objection!
This kidnapping wasn't planned by just two people alone.
And what kind of proof do you have of that?
Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers.
3?
4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's backroom. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group, and I believe this third person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping.
Oh, who is this mastermind?
I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping.
Take that!
Lance Amano!
Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us.
Do you see the faces of your kidnappers?
No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said.
But, I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them.
Ah yes, about when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room blindfolded the entire time, but the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside.
My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay?
Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right?
No, not quite yet.
How could you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes?
Because he's the prosecutor, and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth, and should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. Tuh. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little.
Hold it!
How did you manage to escape?
I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape.
I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway.
Objection!
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Shino?
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this! What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape?
Well, why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it.
As if I accept such a bold-faced lie! You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive? What else? Do you honestly think that an upright pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself? This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime.
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Ugh. Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
All right, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that $1 million, but now that dream is over. Oh, Lance.
Then you are giving yourself up.
Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back.
He turned on you.
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, that's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. That would mean that the person Officer Beacon saw was Ms. Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a Bad Badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Lolly, then it really was you. That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life.
I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you?
Ollie, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Pop, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was. If what she says is true. Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Hold it!
Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself.
But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it, pointing straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops, please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course. Oh, but that badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Objection!
I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then...
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier.
there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the bad badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
If that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. They are both correct. Impossible! That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pops' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands.
Take that!
The costumes have two parts to them, a head and the body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pops saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Pops saw really belonged to this badger.
Take that!
What? The heck is it? It's the Proto-Badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the Blue Badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the Pink Badger is out of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the Proto-Badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the Proto-Badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pops wearing that hideous thing? The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing that she had committed the murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim, it was all done so that she would pull out the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh? There is but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
What? No. That's slander. They can take it back. You take it back right now.
Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed.
But what does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Ms. Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand. Who's what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto-Badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right?
Objection!
Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet.
Take that!
We found one half of a Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where is the gun you use now? I threw it away into the sea. That makes it a bit tough to verify that it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha! I knew you were full of it! However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance. She saw the victim in the state of being restrained. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape. So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right? We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape, though he looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pop saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in their room next door.
Hold it!
You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw? Yes, I am certain of what I saw. Did you go into the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul. Then are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon. She saw a Bad Badger head. The captive had a Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure it was Mr. Deacon.
Objection!
Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. Huh? The person you actually saw was this person. It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth. I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me, even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? That's... You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a Bad Badger's head on, and then made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended. Huh? What do you mean he pretended? Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword, he then escaped with the passenger. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment, all of that could have happened while you were out cold. That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor. Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Ugh. Who said that? Please, wait. Mr. Romano.
Oh, Miles, my boy. It looks like you're really giving it your all. And lads, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad? Let's see. You were the one in charge of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you.
Oh, do you now?
Is that what I think it is?
It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun!
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea.
Ugh, is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law?
There, now. Agent Blank, please calm down.
What's this? This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Romano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What?
The Chief of Police? What the? Who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area. Oh, there, now. There is no need to be so upset.
I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country.
Now. Hey. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land.
I can't really say no to that. However, it's turning to the topic at hand. It doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Alright now, let's take a look at this new evidence.
I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren. What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence.
I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
This bullet hole. It looks kind of burnt around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is the most important fact. Why is that?
Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume.
Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable.
Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here? Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there. Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. The fingerprints on the weapon, huh?
Oh no, this isn't helpful at all.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes. That may be all you can do. However, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie. You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence? Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun.
Objection!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. But there's been no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house.
To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun.
Gah.
Do you understand now, Mr. Amama? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, Lance.
What? No way, I'm incredibly worried about her. But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence.
What? How?
The story that Ms. Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true, because that was not the real crime scene but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all.
Take that!
Let us take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it.
Take that!
The burn on this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. Ah, so then you mean the murder Miss Olbach saw at the stadium really was... Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn. Ugh! Heh, look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then? Glenn set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was imprisoned was... I've got it. I know the real scene of the murder. The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here.
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that it is highly likely that the victim was killed there. What proves that the real scene of the crime was the haunted house?
Take that!
These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything? Indeed, you don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume. Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. However, there is one place I can think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amato, I propose that you kill Mr. Deacon within the revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badger-mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badger-mobile was stolen confirms this as fact. Miles, my boy, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. Oh, how dare you? I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's for the haunted house. You see, isn't it possible the fragments got into the costume there? But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Lang Z says, on truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgereth, do you? Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is no. See, so since you don't have any, shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted. But you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Tuh! Sheena! I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately. Understood. I'll go get the Getwater Group's approval. Who was that? No. Let's hold on for a second. There is no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Sheena! It's the deed to the haunted house. The deed? Read it out loud. Gatewater Land Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full in cash. What? Oh, as you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house. Are you kidding? When did you... I ran into the owner of the park early, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye.
That 1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase blow. My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter their haunted house, of course. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper. Ugh! Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever.